Before we get started with this video, I want to thank everybody that has recently subscribed to my channel. Now, let's get started here. Look at Anton Daniels, Shoeshine boy Anton Daniels, looking at this woman, at this video, as if he has so much empathy for what this woman is saying.
Right now, as we speak, there are men getting kidnapped off of their streets, like literally just walking their dogs or walking home from work, and they are being snatched up and thrown into a van as they are screaming for their lives because they don't want to go fight in war, that they'll lose. They have no say in where they're going. They are getting literally snatched off the street, just tracked down and snatched, not like a normal recruitment. Okay, and they have no bodily autonomy to make that choice for themselves.
I know that these people, and I've done research and I've deep dive, and I've seen what the face of war look like as far as the documentation of it that's not actually being put out to the real media and seeing what's happening to the women. It's not just the men that's being snatched up and put on the front lines to fight a war that they don't want to be in, and they just want peace now because they tired and they exhausted and they broken. It's the women. They getting raped. They getting taken advantage of. It's the casualties of war is crazy.
And so now you've heard this woman bold-faced lie when she said that men are being indiscriminately snatched up off the streets. That was a lie. You heard Anton Daniels when he said that he did his research on what's going on over in Ukraine, and he said this woman is telling the truth. That's a bold-faced lie as well. Let me show you what's really going on over there in Ukraine and why these men are being snatched up.
Officials in Ukraine have described claims of corruption within its army recruitment as shameful and unacceptable. It comes after President Zelensky recently sacked every regional recruitment head after officials were accused of taking bribes and intimidation. Our Ukraine correspondent James Waterhouse reports.
It's okay to be scared. This is the latest messaging campaign from Ukraine's military. It wants people to give their details so they can be called on if needed. But what if they don't want to?
The system is very outdated.
Yehor, not his real name, is one of them. He's not happy with how the army finds its soldiers.
It's like Soviet times. Recruiters using these methods now is unacceptable.
Mobilization is why most men under 60 can't leave Ukraine. Here, drafting officers raid an arcade in the Kiev region. They hand out notices, ordering them to sign up. Russia's invasion means Ukraine is constantly trying to replace soldiers. But with tens of thousands killed and even more injured or exhausted, the demand is not being met with just volunteers. But there are big questions over how it calls men up, with officials being accused of intimidation and helping some escape the country for cash. There are exemptions, including poor health, but not for just not wanting to fight. Yehor watched his father suffer with mental health issues after serving in Afghanistan with the Soviet army.
Each situation is individual. The fact it's written in the constitution that all male citizens must fight is, in my opinion, not in line with today's values.
Thousands of men try to avoid the draft, either through tip-offs or leaving the country illegally, unless they're caught. Good evening. Where are you going? Says this border guard. Ukrainian defense officials are usually easier to engage with. This is clearly a sensitive subject. We've been refused interviews, access with drafting officers, so we're going to go to them. At the unveiling of the Defence Ministry's latest information campaign, an admission of problems which need fixing. I understand that people will be afraid of fighting on the front line, but I put it to you that they're also afraid of a recruitment system that's been accused of corruption, of not always following the law. Do you understand why people don't trust the system?
Прояви корупції Corruption in the recruitment centers is unacceptable and shameful.
Ми не повинні забувати.
But we should not forget that behind all that outrage, which is completely fair, there are two components of our victory: weapons and people. And the mobilization process is what provides that.
In an abandoned Kyiv summer camp, civilians are trained in combat. The guns and grenades might be pretend. But there is a hope people like Anton will volunteer for the real thing.
Are you scared about that idea in any way?
Of course. Well, as every person, I'm scared. I'm scared.
I just can't stand the shelling anymore.
Your nerves. Well, hell, you're just a goddamn coward. We have a yellow bastard sitting here crying in front of these brave men who've been...
So now you know the truth. It's part of the Ukrainian constitution for these men to be out there fighting. A lot of them are cowards. A lot of them are saying they don't want to go to war because they're not feeling well.